Today we're talking about something I know many of you struggle with, those emotional lows that come with living with sensorimotor OCD. It's not just the intrusive awareness of your body's sensations, it's actually the frustration, the sadness and the exhaustion that often follows it. If you've been feeling stuck in this cycle, then you're not alone. In this episode, we'll explore why sensorimotor OCD can really weigh you down emotionally. And more importantly, I'll share 3 powerful strategies to help you climb out of those lows and find relief. So let's dive straight in. So first, let's talk about why sensorimotor OCD often feels so heavy on an emotional level. Unlike other types of OCD, sensorimotor OCD focuses on something that you literally cannot escape, your body. Whether it's your breathing, swallowing, blinking, or any other automatic sensation, it's effectively always there with you. And this constant hyper-awareness creates a sense of helplessness. It feels like you're kind of trapped in your own body with no way out of the maze. And here's the thing, OCD thrives on this kind of hopelessness or helplessness. It tells you, you'll never stop noticing this, or this is your life now, you're going to have to deal with it. And those thoughts drag you down emotionally and convince you that there's no point in trying. Plus, the mental effort of fighting or analyzing the sensations is completely exhausting. It leaves you feeling drained, irritable, and even isolated from the people around you because, unfortunately, it's very difficult for people to really understand sensorimotor OCD unless they've experienced it themselves. The other side of this is how OCD tricks you into thinking the sadness or frustration will last forever. It magnifies those feelings and adds another layer of thoughts like, why can't I just be normal? Or what's wrong with me? Or I'll never enjoy my life again. And of course, these thoughts really fuel the cycle. They tend to keep you stuck in it. And it's like being in quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. So what can we actually do about it? How can we break free from the emotional grip of sensorimotor OCD? Well, let's start with something practical. Something that you can do is to shift your attention between the sensation and something neutral around you. And I call this a kind of fluctuation practice. So here's how it works. What you need to do is spend 10 seconds focusing fully on the sensation that you don't like, that you're trying to not be aware of, whether it's your breathing or swallowing. Then try to switch your attention to something external, like the sound of a clock ticking or the feel of the ground beneath you. For another 10 seconds, you're going to do that. You're going to focus on that other thing. And then move back again to the awareness of the thing that you don't want to focus on. And keep fluctuating between these two things. So why do this? What's the point here? Well, the idea is that you need to be able to pay attention to that sensation in your body, to that sensorimotor awareness, without getting so upset about it. And then, to practice being able to move your attention to something else. The important thing is that you're not afraid of your attention going to the awareness of the breath or the blinking or whatever it might be. The important thing is actually that you're able for your attention to go to that thing, and that you're also able to kind of move your attention elsewhere to focus on different things or other things. And maybe your attention will then go back to the thing that you don't want it to be on. But the really important thing to develop, the skill, if you like, that you need to develop is this ability to not be so afraid of your attention going to the breath or the swallowing or whatever it might be. If your attention does go to that thing, so often we're telling ourselves subconsciously that that's bad or that we can't cope with that. And we're beginning to associate our fear and our anxiety with that. But the reality is, that we can deal with that. It's just awareness of something. And, if we can practice on purpose being aware of that thing and then practice moving our attention elsewhere and then bringing it back again, we're kind of teaching our body and our mind that actually we can pay attention to this thing on purpose, and that we don't need to be fearful of it. We don't need to have so much anxiety about it. Tip 2 then is to challenge the forever lie. One of the biggest lies OCD tells us is that our current struggle with it will last forever. When you're really stuck in the blues, it's easy to believe this because the feelings are incredibly overwhelming at times. So here's what you can do instead. Start by writing down a list of challenges that you've faced in the past, even small ones where things actually got better over time. And remind yourself, my brain is telling me this is a forever kind of pattern, that this is always going to be here. But that's not true. I've seen this pattern before, and actually it always changes in the end. And this simple exercise disrupts the hopelessness and gives you evidence to lean on when the OCD voice feels kind of overwhelming at times. An important thing to point out with this activity is that it's not about looking for certainty. Even though we're pointing out to ourselves times when things have passed in time, we're not saying that it has to pass, that things will always pass in a specific way or after a specific time. But we're just pointing out, generically that in general, things do always pass. And it's helpful to kind of reflect on evidence of that in your own life. Tip 3 is actually something that I use all the time, and that is to reset your system with micro adrenaline bursts. So what am I talking about here? Well, when you're feeling low, your body might be stuck in a kind of lethargic state. And one of the fastest ways to interrupt this is by creating a quick burst of energy followed by a moment of calm. Think of it as a mini reset for your nervous system. So here's how to do it. Stand up and do 20 seconds of jumping jacks or high knees or press-ups or whatever that you feel comfortable with. And afterwards, sit down and lie down and focus on slow, deep breathing for a minute or two. The contrast between the adrenaline and the relaxation can help shake off that heavy feeling and bring you back into the present moment. So to sum it up, sensorimotor OCD can feel incredibly overwhelming, not just because of the intrusive awareness, but because of all the emotional toll that it can take. But by practicing fluctuation to loosen your focus, challenging the lies that OCD tells you, and using physical resets to break through low energy, you can start to shift out of those emotional lows. And remember, these moments of frustration and low mood with sensorimotor OCD, they don't last forever. Even though OCD wants you to think that. See if you can take it one step at a time, and don't hesitate to reach out for support if you need it. I really hope that you found this video helpful. Please do subscribe and watch out for more videos on sensorimotor OCD that are coming weekly on this channel. This video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are dealing with OCD, anxiety, or any mental health concerns, please consult a licensed mental health professional for support.